Mass protests in the Middle East as France's president warns Israel's Prime Minister of a danger to peace. Australia-linked Nobel Peace Prize winners warn the world is just a tantrum away from nuclear disaster. And more pressure mounts on Senator Sam Dastyari to resign over China links.
This is SBS World News with Janice Petersen.
Israel's Prime Minister says Palestinians must get to grips with the reality that Jerusalem is Israel's capital in order to move towards peace. While French President Emmanuel Macron has warned US President Donald Trump's recognition decision is a danger to peace. There's been another day of protests across the Arab and Muslim world, and Israeli authorities say the stabbing of a security guard in Jerusalem by a Palestinian was a terror attack.
President Donald Trump said his decision would help bring peace to the Middle East. Nastasia Tay, SBS World News.
Iraq has staged a military parade to celebrate victory over IS. Troops paraded through the heavily fortified Green Zone in Baghdad after Prime Minister Haider al-Abadi declared victory in the three-year battle. Iraqi forces retook the last IS strongholds at the weekend in regions bordering Syria. An Australian-founded group that accepted the Nobel Peace Prize last night has warned the world is just a tantrum away from a nuclear disaster which could claim millions of lives. The international campaign to abolish nuclear weapons used the prize ceremony to urge powerful nations to defuse global tensions.
A moment of triumph, a grassroots movement trying to change the world.
Two senior Labor MPs have broken ranks to say New South Wales Senator Sam Dastyari should consider his future in politics. But other Labor colleagues say he's paid enough of a price for his relationship with Chinese donors. Coalition ministers are stepping up their attacks, calling for him to be sacked from the party.
It's the final week of campaigning in the Bennelong by-election.
Good on you, man.
An electorate with a huge Chinese community is hearing a lot about the homeland.
The latest Coalition MP to be dragged into the dual citizenship saga is standing by his claim that he isn't a Polish citizen by descent. Jason Falinski says his lawyers are satisfied he's in the clear because his father was born out of wedlock and didn't inherit Polish citizenship as a result. Labor says he should be referred to the High Court.
They're obviously trying to kick up as much dust as they possibly can to divert from the problems that they're facing.
Coming up next, the tragic death of an Indian student who drowned just days after representing her country. Shortly, global counter-terror experts converge on Melbourne. And later, road rage in China. An angry elephant clears a path.
SBS News. Stay informed. Anywhere you are, instantly. Download the new SBS News app or go to sbsnews.com.au.
A 15-year-old student from India has drowned off an Adelaide beach after representing her country. She'd been swimming with teammates, all visiting Australia to represent India at the Pacific School Games.
The search resumed at first light, but it wasn't long before worst fears were confirmed.
Queensland Premier-elect Anastasia Palaszczuk has unveiled her new cabinet after claiming victory in the state election. Ms Palaszczuk, who'll take on the trade portfolio, was given a standing ovation as she addressed the Labor caucus today. She's the first Australian woman to win 2 elections and a second term as Premier. The 18-member ministry is due to be sworn in tomorrow. A 13-year-old champion water skier has died after a crash during a weekend race. Blake Tickle from Sydney's northwest was pulled unconscious from the water at a dam near Cowra. He died in hospital last night from critical head injuries. After a week of fires that has destroyed hundreds of homes and buildings, Southern Californians are facing a new threat. New evacuations have been ordered in Santa Barbara as the largest fire intensifies.
This is what is threatening Santa Barbara and nearby Carpentaria. The massive inferno still growing, adding to the 20 million residents already under threat.
In finance, digital currency Bitcoin is edging slowly into the mainstream with the first ever Bitcoin futures trading at the weekend. To explain, here's SBS Finance editor Ricardo Goncalves.
Hi Janice. Well, Bitcoin has been the best performing asset class this year. Its price has surged 1,500% over the last 12 months. It's come off that $17,000 mark though. But now, professional investors can invest in the form of futures contracts. Now, these contracts listed for the first time on the Chicago Board Options Exchange. But buyers aren't purchasing Bitcoin. Instead, they're betting on whether the price of the cryptocurrency will rise or fall.
And we should see more normal trading behaviour as those groups stabilise the market overall.
To the Australian share market now, which has started the week little changed by the close. The 200 added 0.1% to be 1 point away from that 6,000 point level. Resource stocks did well, but CommBank was the only one of the big four to rise. Telstra climbed as its competitor Optus said it would compensate 8,700 customers who were misled about NBN speeds, and Retail Food Group was a big loser amid concerns about its business model. The Australian dollar is stronger against the US ahead of the Federal Reserve meeting on American interest rates later this week. And there's been a small reprieve for motorists. The Australian Institute of Petroleum says the national average price for a litre of unleaded petrol fell below $1.36 last week. That's down at 2.6 cents, but that's probably as good as it's going to get as we head into the holiday season.
We've still got prices around their highest levels in 2.5 years at the moment. The Aussie dollar has fallen. We're also at the stage of the discounting cycle where prices are probably going to rise.
So filling up now, Janice, might be a smart thing to do.
It sounds like a great tip. Thanks, Ricardo. Well, coming up, lighting up the sky, drones dancing in China. Also, laugh, Kookaburras laugh. Australia's men's hockey team on top of the world. Nearly 2,000 drones decorated the night sky in southern China as a welcome to international guests attending the Fortune Global Forum. The drones climbed high into the sky of the Pearl River, forming the Chinese character Fortune and eventually forming a map of China. Time now for the day in sport with Michael Tomalaris. Tomo, Australia's cricketers sound like they're not getting too distracted by England's off-field dramas.
That's exactly right, Janice. Hello again. Good evening. Cameron Bancroft says the hosts will continue their ruthless approach as they look to reclaim the Ashes in Perth. Australia can take an unassailable 3-0 lead in the series with a win at the Wacker. To the English Premier League now, and Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho is believed to have been in a dressing room dust-up. It follows his side's Manchester derby loss. The result sees City move 11 points clear at the top of the table.
Christmas may still be 2 weeks away, but Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola is celebrating early.
Records, the Buffalo Bills defeated the Indianapolis Colts. Yes, a bit of snow and ice in a game of football. They're calling it Disney on Ice, as a matter of fact.
Very good. I'm glad we're quite a distance away from that. Thanks, Tomo. Coming up, the weather details and singing for Australia. SBS reveals our new Eurovision star. You're watching SBS World News from our brand new set, but it's not just our studio set that's new. We also have a new app, plus we freshened up our website and our Facebook page. And on Facebook, you can find a behind-the-scenes look at the dismantling of our previous set and the building of our latest one. Tell us what you think. Let's check the world weather now. The forecast shows widespread warm temperatures because of a high pressure ridge. Low pressure in the west could bring thunderstorms to some areas. The remainder of the country is mostly cloud-free. In the major centres, sunny spells for most of the country, apart from Darwin, which could see storms, a shower or two for Cairns. Let's see what's happening further afield now. Light rain too for Auckland and Noumea. In Southeast Asia, fog is on the way for Bangkok, clear skies in Phnom Penh, stormy in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore, showers in Jakarta, rain for Denpasar. Heading further north, clear skies for Seoul and Tokyo, some cloud about Shanghai, some rain to hit Taipei, patchy cloud in Hong Kong, rain in Hanoi and Manila. Heading west, scattered cloud for Beirut, Jerusalem and Dubai. Clear though for Baghdad and Tehran. Wet for Islamabad and New Delhi. Mumbai should be clear. To Europe now, sunny skies above Madrid, Paris and London, some rain in Berlin and Budapest and Rome, clear in Athens, foggy for Istanbul and the sun will shine in Warsaw. To Africa, showers are forecast for Casablanca, overcast in Lagos and Addis Ababa, sunny spells for Nairobi, some rain in Harare, stormy in Johannesburg. In South America, rain's on the way for Panama City and Bogota, cloudy in Lima and Rio, sunny intervals for Asunción and Buenos Aires. And for North America, snow to fall on Toronto, rain for New York, clear for Denver, Dallas and Miami, some cloud in Havana and Mexico City. And tonight, SBS has revealed Jessica Mauboy has been chosen to represent Australia at next year's Eurovision Song Contest to be held in Lisbon. The multi-award winning artist performed her debut at Eurovision in 2014 as a guest, but this time she'll light up the stage on behalf of the nation.
Jessica Mauboy's smile says it all as she describes a defining moment in her musical career.
This will be the biggest I'd have to say I've ever come across.
Recapping our top story now. After a meeting, the EU's foreign policy chief, Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Israel is the strongest power in the Middle East, preventing the spread of militant Islam. That is the world this Monday. We'll have news updates throughout the evening on SBS. Another bulletin tonight at 10:37. The SBS News website has all the latest stories as they happen, and you can follow our updates on Facebook and Twitter. Good evening.